Mario Party 2 minigame. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is my opinion and no trying to change opinions. Leave your own opinions down in the comments, no swearing in the comments, and let's get on this with the number 20. Number 20 is Bowserland's duel minigame, Rock, Paper, Mario. Rock, Paper, Mario. I explained what I said it in the board ranking. I'd come back to the minigames in this video, and here we are. Obviously, this is just luck based. Rock, paper, scissors is never fun to have in things like this. You should never do rock, paper, scissors because it's completely luck based and it's not very good. So we don't want to get a duel in Bowserland, and this is the only minigame available in Bowserland. So yeah, this definitely has to start us off. Also, something even worse than rock, paper, scissors is something in a casino. And you know something that's not good in casinos? Slot machines. So that's why Bowser Slots definitely has to be here. It's playing for items, sure. I'm sure. A virtual console. What is happening? What about all that stuff? That can't be good because I like items. Okay, yeah, I'm moving on. Okay, the next four picks are going to be all going to be battle minigames, and the battle minigames are also the kind of bad too. Let's raking them in to start with. Raking them in. I'm also someone who doesn't like this. I know another person who doesn't like this, and I also don't like raking them in because for some reason it feels rigged in the spinning, and I don't know what is it with this minigame, but it's very hard to ever do well in. So this definitely, and this is a battle minigame for some reason. I don't really like this being a battle minigame if it's something I can't do well in. I can't do well in most of these battle minigames. And all of those battle minigames are going to be on this list. And another one is Grab Bag, which is also bad. It's even worse than the Mario Party 1. The Mario Party 1 version was bad, and this is also bad. Because it does have a little mashing in it, if I remember correctly, because I've actually played Mario Party 2 a little more. And this still isn't going to be fun any soon. And same for Bowser's Big Blast. Well, Bowser's Big Blast I can actually do well in because of the virtual console thing, but it's still unfair, and even the Superstars version is unfair. But yeah, in this game it feels unfair in every way. And then finally, probably, maybe this is, for now, the final battle minigame on this list until like later is Day at the Races. Because, well, it's another luck-based minigame, but even worse, and the virtual console won't really help you too much here. But this one is far from fun. And these are all the battle minigames for now. This isn't the worst. This is the second worst battle minigame. And yeah, and then there's another item minigame. Give me a break. These minigames need to give me a break for being so luck-based. And I'm one of those non-fans of luck-based minigames. Yeah, sure, there can probably be timing involved because I think the item like behind you might be the one coming, I think. But I'm pretty much not too sure. But yeah, either way, I'm still not that kind of person, even if it was. And now Bobsled Run. I'm going a little fast with these. Bobsled Run, kind of like in Mario Party 1, but this one has something. I'm not going to talk about it, no. It has button mashing, and every time I played it, I kept falling off. In the Mario Party Superstars version, I'm better at it, but this version is bad. Okay, I should probably do a couple of facts now. This minigame can start off normally, but slowly transitions into a luck-based thing. And I'm talking about... Can you guess? 3, 2, 1. And the answer is a minigame called Toad in the box. The first bit is all good. Honestly, yeah, the first bit is good because it's easier to time to get the toad. But then when the box starts spinning at a very fast speed, then it becomes kind of impossible. And the hard computers can always get it, which I think is even more unfair. Do you agree? Because I agree. I definitely agree with that. A minigame that's like rigged to hard computers or something that should definitely be here. Okay, this minigame is also in Mario Party Superstars, but I can still not do good enough in these. Yeah, and this is more of a red light, green light type of deal in this minigame. And this minigame stood out. I don't know how this minigame stood out, so they would bring it back in Superstars. They didn't bring it back in Top 100, I don't think. But they brought back minigames that they think stood out and is good enough. And for some reason, they thought Sneak and Snore had to stand out just enough. It doesn't matter whether or not this is in Superstars. I probably should stop comparing the Superstars version at this point. It doesn't really matter though, because this version also is kind of bad. It's a 4v4 where everyone, 4v0, or like, it's just a free-for-all. It's just not fun in the slightest. Because it's like more red light, green light. And you can't go fast, you can't go slow, and it's just so hard to do well in. Anyway. Okay, the next minigame, we're down to the wire now. We're down to the halfway point of the list. And we're only like we're almost like this much in. And we're going to be now talking about a minigame that's not good in the retro version, but was good in Top 100 and mostly Superstars. But this version of a minigame called Guess. Yeah, you should guess first before I give it away, and don't skip forward in the video. Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you. You have to guess first. Three, 2, 1, 0. It's Dizzy Dancing. Definitely got to put this on a list of the worst Mario Party 2 minigames. Because one, it's impossible to control. The controls are all messed up, and it's not even reversed. If it was reversed, I could probably give it. Because if it's reversed, I could flip my gamepad upside down because I could do the invisible screen, and it doesn't help that the minigame is short. Yeah, because you could flip it upside down, and the controls are just very bad because they could be backwards, but now we don't know what they are. Did I say the controls are invisible? Yeah, because they are reversed. Because if they're reversed, I could flip my finger because I can read a reverse screen, or like look at a reverse screen. I do not know what I'm saying now. But what I'm meaning to say is that Dizzy Dancing is bad. I cannot control it. It's like impossible to control. Oh yeah, I probably said impossible to control. It's very impossible to control, and this minigame, you have to just get the one treble clef and snap, it's over. This is definitely just, I could have even put this all at the bottom as the worst one, but there's far worse than a minigame, as it was kind of buffed in the other versions, but in this version it's just, the controls have messed it up so much. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, you know something I don't like in these things? I do not like button mashers. So obviously having minigames that are based on button mashing are not good, and even having an item minigame based on button mashing is not good. And yeah, the button mashers are even worse in this version because there's no turbo controller. And yeah, minigames that say like Hammer Slammer is what I'm talking about. Yeah, because I can never get, because it's hard to get an item that you have to mash the buttons, and I'm a very slow button masher. And it doesn't help that I don't get turbo, so because these minigames, and even if I did, it would still not be that good, and these minigames are very bad. Button mashers are very bad. So obviously these would be on the list. You know something? I thought the name of Filet Relay was actually called, I thought Filet was called Filet. I thought this was called Filet Relay, but it's actually Filet Relay. And the way you play this is it's a 1v3 relay race where the one player has, and they all have to deliver a fish in over to an igloo. But there's a problem. The controls, I just have control problems with half of these. There might be button mashing involved. And yeah, I don't know if there is, but that wouldn't really make it any better. If having button mashing wouldn't make it even better. Yeah, there is button mashing. And the snowballs, and it feels even rigged at sometimes. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't like button mashers. Okay, this one is an unbalanced minigame that's pretty much very well known. And I'm talking about Archer Ival. It is pretty unbalanced, to be honest. And it definitely still stays a tout to unbalancedness. Because it's like more of a win for the solo player can always win. They could have made it a little better. Hopefully in the new Jamboree version, because I hear in Mario Party Jamboree this minigame might return, they make it better. Because I think Archer Rival will have the roles reversed in the Jamboree version. Hopefully that is the case, even though I don't know about the Jamboree. Don't ask me about that. Okay, here's a minigame that scrolls quick, and also I just mess up on the first jump for no reason. It's a minigame that could be cool, but is bad. Platform Peril. I just can never do well in it. I don't know why, guys. I can jump. I could be able to clear a couple, but then suddenly I just fall off somehow. I'm sorry. And yeah, it's not a button masher, so it's only number 6, but it's still definitely not fun in the slightest. Here's a minigame that's a 2 versus 2 minigame, which is kind of one-sided in a way. What I mean by that is there's one half of the minigame that you would fun. Say something if you're controlling a vehicle, and there's one bit of the minigame that's more fun than the other. So I say that Sky Pilots is what base is that in. It controls bad, because flapping the wings is not fun. Steering is more fun, and a CPU could do that. And they always give the steering to the CPU. And this minigame's just bad, and the controls are never fun in these types of minigames. I can never control it. Am I the only one? Okay, now the worst battle minigame is definitely Hot Bomb. It's kind of like Hot Potato, but you could basically target any player you want by waiting until it's about to explode, then throw it. Which I think is very unfair that you could have something that's based on targeting. Yeah, does everyone else agree? Who agrees? Okay, these last 2 minigames all have a problem, but I think Crane Game is not as bad, because Crane Game is it's too much button mashing and it's very unbalanced. And me not being able to button mash is already, because it's basically entirely button mashing, which I obviously don't want. But there is worse, and the times are kind of bad. And I only won this minigame like probably 1 time, which isn't very impressive. Okay, the last 2 minigames are similar, but one I can play a little bit of, but one I can't play at all. Skateboard Scamper is the second worst minigame in Mario Party 2. Because every time I always get caught, because every time you have to... Anyway, yeah. I can mash the buttons and actually get some distance because it's being chased by a boo. But then I get stopped. I always get stopped in the minigame, which I think is not very fun. And I hate these button mashing minigames. And I need to think of I need to go to caster minigames that I could probably play, right? And this is not one of these caster minigames. I'm gonna do a 20 best ranking with the caster minigames I can actually do well in. And now the worst Mario Party 2 minigame is Abandoned Boat or Abandoned Ship. This is basically a vertical version of Skateboard Scamper, but every time I start the game up and the start screen finishes, and then when I gain control, I just get eliminated. Yeah, I can't even play the minigame. I tried mashing first, But every time, it doesn't matter, all the time, what ends up happening is I keep getting eliminated. A minigame that I can't even play definitely should get out of my face. This is the worst Mario Party 2 minigame.